If there is one key element that is present in every single gacha game and just games in general, it is of course the characters. From the drip marketing to the live streams to the trailers, the developers make it a mission to sell these characters to you so that you can pull them by going through absolute hell of endgame content. Otherwise, we have end of service services. I mean end of service games. And what makes us stay with said characters is of course their stories, which we can either experience through the quest, either dedicated or the main quest, or the one thing that every single community loves to overlook: reading. I know for a fact many of you don't go through thousands of those words to learn about why exactly it's right underneath the boob. And I am the one who's gonna take the burden of reading these stories for you so that you can learn of these characters, fall for them even more, or try to beat somebody else in the upcoming quiz. Look, if you're saying this, I'd like to participate in that after a couple more videos. Anyway, my name is Crimson Tisaku, the Black Blade of Ella, and welcome to the Tales of Gacha. For today's video, we're gonna look at a game that I have stuck with since day one on mobile. Worst decision of my entire life, by the way. And we're gonna talk about a character who has withstood the test of time ever since her release and has become an absolute beast of a unit thanks to some god tier supports. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to introduce the femme fatale, the beauty behind the flames, the ever elegant, ever alluring Changli, counselor of Jingshou, the aide, the master of the heavenly splendor known as Jingshi. She has a rather interesting story, which, by the way, if you guys want me to talk about her student next, you can let me know in the comments, as well as...
Oh, I'm looking forward to our game.
Okay, I know who is next on the Tales of Gacha. So do make sure you subscribe to the channel so that she can get some love, otherwise I'm gonna die. Anyway, let's now get into this beauty of flames. Hi there, this is Crimson Tisaku from the future. I forgot to mention this in the initial recording, but this does of course contain spoilers from various story and main quests. So if you're new to Wuthering Waves, welcome by the way. I advise that you play those story quests, that's from Walong to the Song of Eons, that's Mount Feminine, and then you can come back and learn more about Changli. If not, then do not complain that you got your story spoiled. You came here, you pay the price. Anyway, back to the video. Now then, before we talk about Changli's story, we have to talk about the world that she lives in. After all, that equally played a role in her story, and it's also very interesting on its own. So, the game Wuthering Waves takes place in a planet known as Solaris 3, the third planet for the sun, known as why it's not named Earth. A very long time ago, millennia ago, eons ago, not exactly sure of the details, there was a series of events that occurred, catastrophic events that were collectively known as the Lament, which pretty much destroyed past civilizations, rewrote the natures of the world, where now it's dictated by sound waves, frequencies, and the musicians' false paradise. Then it also led to two things. One, the wave-worm phenomenon, I hope I said that right, which is essentially a series of anomalies which brought about rain that flows back upwards, reverse 99 style. That's the discos, which are just sentient beings that feed on frequencies. And of course, Tacet Fuse, where we farm to get the perfect sets, except we keep on getting dots after dots after dots after dots. And then the second thing that it brought about was resonators. These are essentially people who are able to tap into the frequencies of the world and are capable of manifesting them through various things. Some can conjure fire or fire, some can quite literally split the ocean. Anyway, if you guys want to learn more about Solaris, resonators and all that, you can check out these videos from this guy, which I'll link in the description below. Don't worry, I will not overlook the legend. Now that we've gotten Solaris out of the way, we can now dive into Changli. She was born and raised in Walong, somewhere in some remote village, which ends up getting destroyed by tacit discords, and she emerged as the sole survivor. Typical anime trope. And while the exact details are not known, what is known is that at some point in her childhood, she awakened her resonance abilities, which allowed her to manipulate flames, which she primarily does in the form of feathers, bird feathers, resembling the phoenix that she learned about in her childhood. Now, with these same resonator abilities, becoming a resonator at such a young age, she not only able to survive the harsh environment of Solaris, but was able to defeat Tacit discords for credits from time to time, which, by the way, credits or shell credits to be exact, are the currency of Solaris. However, at a young age, she didn't have that much control over her resonance abilities, and coupled with the prolonged exposure in the environment, she ended up experiencing a phenomenon known as overclocking, which, if I was to explain it in simple terms, think of it as fire force, where if the soldiers were to overuse their fire abilities, they end up going to crisis. I've forgotten about that term, but yeah, think of it like that. And that's what Changli experienced. While she did not end up with charred shoulders, what did end up happening was her pink hair fading into white at the tips, her left hand being permanently scarred, burnt, and also she sustained physical damage, shortening her lifespan. Meaning she is one of the few characters we know is dangerously close to death. Now, despite having her lifespan cut short, she was rather determined. She was seeking out a goal of achieving peace and prosperity, and she aimed to do it by getting as much knowledge and wisdom as possible with the time that she had, which is rather good because kids need to read a lot. Kids need to read a lot. Keep that in mind. Now, because of this hunger for knowledge and wisdom, two key figures come into play in her life. The first one is, hopefully I pronounce his names right, Chin of the Yangshin bookstore. That's right, your boy from Star Rock got so cooked he's now holding records across the stars. God damn. I wonder who still uses him. Anyway, so this gentleman was running his typical bookstore. Things were normal stuff. However, he and some customers began noticing how the temperature was at times getting abnormally high and was extremely bad in the hot weather. So after some time, he decided to do some investigation where he found the young Changli reading a book with a flame serving as a light floating about, and startled, she almost burnt the book. She did run away, though, to avoid getting into trouble, so we can thank the old man for the development of the slender legs. And she didn't appear for a week, where she did bring some money to repay for the damages. The man, having his hunger subside, decided to let her read for long. A bunch of stuff just to keep their soul well, and she was able to read a lot. She was able to gain that knowledge from them. And some time passed and she was AFK. The man was worried, but he soon received a letter, and then eventually the now mature Changli sneaked into it again after she made the book extremely popular when she was receiving Secretary General. I'm sorry for running to this point, but I felt it was a bit important to talk about this because, yeah, you let it if you decide to read for your own. Which again, if you don't want to read on your own, just let me know in the comments below. Subscribe to the channel, and so that you can save the trouble while I suffer. After all, the world always makes me suffer. Anyway, that's the gentleman over there. Now, the second person, one who played a bigger role in Changli's life, is a man, a well-known man known as, and I am sorry for butchering this name, Shang Miao. Oh god, I'm gonna get flamed in the comments. Pun intended. Anyway, this man was a well-known practitioner of astrology, astronomy. Oh shit! Yes, he was a well-known figure with tons of knowledge. Now, initially, he was reluctant on getting a new student when he encountered Changli, but after some time, he decided to bring her in, imparting it with her better skill knowledge that she is ever elegant with, as well as the knowledge that she is well known for, which he primarily did through Wenxing Game, which ended up becoming her favorite as she grew older. Now, the old man, realized that his time was passing, his time was coming, and so he decided to impart as much as possible while also giving her clues about the man that he learned from, aka Rover. And so, with this information, with these clues, Changlin would then now go on a quest hunting down these clues, learning as much as possible about this so-called savior, this so-called hero of heroes, as well as along the way becoming the Secretary General of the capital of Walong, where she managed to make the lives of people better by doing some renovation here and there. And then an incident occurred that has been recorded as the Battle Beneath the Crescent. This is where at Jingshou, the army that was led by Genshi Yu battled against the reviving Rhodian known as Overthrax, who, despite having a good lead, the Overthrax decided to pull a Kabuto in the war, and it led to some devastating losses, and Genshiyu vanished. Which, by the way, for those who are wondering who Genshiyu is, this is him, and people have been requesting for him since his release. Anyway, with this period, or with this incident, Jingshou didn't have a magistrate at all. So Changlin offered a resignation and chose to go to Jingshou to help here and there in whatever way she can. And this is where she meets key people. That is Jingxin, a student, Jiyan, the now general of Jingshou, Sanhua, the bodyguard of Jingxin, and of course, you know who I'm talking about. Anyway, that is the story, the backstory of Changli. Now we can focus on a different part of her character, and that is relationships.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
In order for a character to feel real, natural, and actually part of the world, they need to have interactions and thoughts about other characters. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I baited your ass.
Yes, my turn, assholes.
But there are some that are actually legit. So let's dive into Changli's interactions, thoughts, and relationships and whatnot. Starting with the biggest one, arguably, that is the one with Jingxi. gentlemen. Moving on. And then there's the one with Sanwa. Wow, this isn't exactly as deep of a relationship as the one with Jingshin. Changli has a lot of respect for Sanwa for her dedication and diligence as the bodyguard to the magistrate, which we can give a round of applause to. She has defended her well. Although she hopes that Sanwa at least take a break from now and everything because she's working way too hard, which I honestly agree, because Sanwa has been carrying F2P account since day one. No, as a matter of fact, she's been carrying the 4-star roster of Wuthering Waves since day one. This woman needs a break. Kuro Games, if you're watching this video, please, all 4 stars, above, similar to, or even greater than Sanwa. I'll still use her as the main because I've dedicated myself to becoming the Sanwa main when I get back on through PC. But please, I mean please, we need more. Give this woman a break. Same way with Zanin, which we can make a video about her if you let me know in the comments after the other one. Anyway, we get into the other big one. The one that everybody was expecting. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to present you the one that we have here. The founder of the shows, the champion of sentiments, the unfated one, the hero of heroes. It is the one, the only, the legendary Rover. Also, by the way, I do apologize for how I'm sounding. Recording at a different time than I was in the earlier recordings, so but anyway, this relationship is a rather interesting one because Changli was following clues about Rover ever since getting the teachings from her master, and was filled with a whole bunch of emotions when she eventually met Rover when on the quest to rescue Jingshin from Mount Feminine. Which, if you have forgotten, that's where we do meet Changli for the first time. And for those who are surprised that, oh my god, this is where we meet her, I warned you about spoilers. Oh no, future me warned you about the spoilers. So I don't know why you're still here, so you best believe it. Anyway, because of this, Changli has a great admiration for Rover. Not love, not romantic love, but just admiration for her. And in fact, learned a couple things. One, the sword skills she learned from the master came from him, so because of that, she was able to hone her skills a lot better with some spars here and there. Two, she's able to understand the tactics, the books of the Weixin games and whatnot, because of course it's from Rover. And another thing is that even though she's aware that Rover is the savior, the so-called hero that's supposed to free the world from the lament and whatnot, she understands that she cannot solely rely on Rover. She knows that Rover cannot be the sole hope that the world has. And so she seeks to be by Rover's side so that she can fight alongside him and offer as much as possible for that goal, even though she won't make it to the very end because she's close to death. And oh my god, I've practically described the couple at this point. Oh boy. Well then, the Wuthering Waves is real. Anyway, we'll end this video right here so that we do not get into trouble, so that I do not overload your brain with rather pointless information, and because it's the very first video and we don't want to overbloat it. Once again, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on this, and so that we can get this show up on the road so that you guys can avoid reading about the characters. I'll do that for you. You can also go in the comments, let me know which characters you want me to go through from not just Wuthering Waves, but even CZZ, FGO, which I'm very interested in doing it. It'd be a massive hassle, but I would love to do that. There's also Genshin Impact, which I know there are some characters some people want to bring up, And then of course you can I don't know, you can maybe bring up girls front lines too, because I'm getting into that game. It's gonna be one of my main staples, mainstays here and there. So yeah, just do the usual, and I will see you all later. Oh, I almost forgot. I have a Twitch channel where you can see me play some of these games live, especially chess, because I'm aiming for a goal. And yeah, you can see a lot of scuffing, and maybe in the future we can do some live reading. I'll make it as entertaining as possible so that you won't be bored in the, like, I don't know, hours we may get into. So yeah, I will see you all next time. The Black Blade of Ella now rests.